Hello and welcome back to Lorcana Villain. My name is Baker, and today we're going to be taking a look at some more upcoming cards from the Ursula's Return Lorcana Set 4. We're getting closer and closer. I'm very excited. Today is the same day where my video went out with my card reveal for Mickey Mouse Musketeer Captain. Thank you to everyone that came out for that live or watched it after. Yeah. Don't know what to say. They gave me a Mickey Mouse, a legendary Mickey Mouse, which I know so many people were expecting a villain, but how can you be mad at the icon, the mascot of Disney? So yeah, very excited for that. I'm absolutely shattered, and there's a lot to do over the next few days. It's been about a week since I did my last one of these because I was still finishing off the deck lists. The Stitch deck lists coverage, which also thank you to everyone that supported those videos. They seem to be they seem to do well and be well received, and there were a lot of positive comments about doing a junior version in the future. So yeah, that's absolutely something that I'm going to look to do in the future. But yeah, I was doing those, and then I only got sent the Mickey 3 days ago. So it was quite a quick turnaround to get that video sorted. So yeah, I forgive me if I seem a little knackered, but I can't really afford to leave it any longer before covering these card reveals. We've got about 20 or so to look at right now, because there's going to be more coming over the next few days. There's some exciting videos coming to the channel over the next few daes as well, one of which I've already advertised. I'm going to have a few guests on the channel. It was going to be 3 guests. It's now going to be 4 guests. Where we're going to do a whole meta roundup for set 3, so that should be pretty cool. And then there's something else coming as well, which I'm actually not allowed to talk about yet, but some exciting things happening. And I want to say one more time, just thank you to everyone that supported me in the channel, because yeah, there's some cool things happening in the background, not all of which I can talk about yet, but yeah, very, very appreciative. But yeah, let's look at some card reveals. I'm going to go in a bit of a weird order because there's a couple that I want to talk about sooner rather than later, because I already feel like I will refer back to them. So we're going to start off with a new legendary for Sapphire. We've got the Queen Diviner. And, oh, by the way, a lot of these cards, we don't have English versions yet, so I'm reading rough translations, so I might not be word perfect, but the effects will be right. But yeah, anyone that looked at this Queen card, did anyone get really confused and think, yo, Once Upon a Time's coming to Lorcana? Give me Rumpelstiltskin. Give me Rumpelstiltskin. If Rumpelstiltskin came to Lorcana, I would have to seriously consider changing my mascot, because, God, I love that character. But yeah, Regina is the name of the evil queen in that. But no, we've got the Queen Diviner. She's a 3-cost Ingable, 3/3 quest for 1, with the ability Consult the Grimoire. It says Grimory on this translation I'm reading, but I think it's meant to be Grimoire. I don't know. Nonetheless, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal an item card and add it to your hand. If that item costs 3 or less, you can play it for free instead and enters play exerted. Put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. I quite like this. We're also going to look in a moment at a card which is kind of like Ariel, top 4 cards of the deck, and you put an item into your hand. I believe Scuttle's the name for this. Is that Magic the Gathering term? I've seen lots of people referring to Scuttle when it comes to these item search. I'm assuming that's a Magic the Gathering thing. It's new to me. But yeah, item search definitely getting some support with this upcoming set. I think this card is really interesting. The problem is, generally with Sapphire, as it stands, and again, we don't know what the meta's going to look like in set 4, more often than not, your best turn 3 play is Fishbone Quill. And if you play this on 3, then if this was a come into play ability, I think this would be one of the best cards that we've seen. But because you have to exert, you have to survive the turn, fine. But then turn 4, you exert it. Let's say you find your Fishbone or your 3 or less cost item of choice. It comes in exerted, so you can't immediately gain value from the Fishbone. But I suppose it's still fine, if you just miss the Fishbone, and it helps you dig for it, and there's going to be other 3 or less cost items. So these are our 3 or less cost items. Should a Virtue's play, put a Porpsicle straight into play, you're still going to draw the cards. Sleepy's Flute straight into play. Again, it will come in exerted, so you can't immediately gain lore. Same sort of situation with Lantern. You won't immediately be able to gain value from it, but it sneaks them into play, and these see play. Sorcerer's Spellbook, Maui's Fishhook, Heart of Tefiti, some Sapphire decks are playing. Maurice's Workshop doesn't really see play anymore. It's also in play at the beginning of format, but hey, maybe we sneak this in. Map of Treasure Planet, weight sets. So these are some targets, and I know there's some other targets that we're going to talk about in this set of reveals. One of the reasons I wanted to look at this card first. So it's certainly interesting. I'm not convinced by it straight away. It's all right. I don't know if we'll find the room for it. I don't think it's a bad card. I just feel like it's going to be a case of, like, it's fine, but there's probably going to be better choices to fill our 60 slots. But interesting. I might be wrong. It might. Again, we don't know what item decks are going to look like in the next set, so maybe it does just maximize these sort of cards like the Queen Diviner and the next card that we're going to look at that helps search his items. But love the art. Another villain. Love to see it. Oh, Scuttle's his name. I'm a dingbat. I'll keep that in for your entertainment. I'm a dingbat. It's not like I know Little Mermaid as well. I didn't know what this guy's name was. Okay, fair enough. Magic the Gathering term. What a dingbat I am. But yeah, this is what I was referring to. Scuttle, expert on humans, 2-cost inkable, 1/3, and let me see. When you play him, look at the top 4 cards of your deck, reveal an item, put it in your hand, the rest at the bottom of your deck. So this is pretty cool, especially because you play this on turn 2, and this helps you find the Fishbone Quill or your item of choice. So yeah, this 100% sees play, and maybe it will see play on top of the Queen as well. Again, obviously the Queen gets the advantage that she puts it into play straight away, but you got to exert her. But yeah, I think a dedicated item deck will likely play both. How good that will be, we are yet to see. But it's great that it's getting support. Scuttle, by the way, was revealed by the Forbidden Mountain. Shout out to them, and in that vein, we'll go straight on to the other card that they revealed. We've got Medallion Weights, 2-cost inkable item, Discipline and Strength, exert, pay 2. Chosen character gets +2 strength this turn. Whenever they challenge another character this turn, you may draw a card. I quite like this. There was the Sumerian Talisman from set 3, which saw a little bit of play. Ended up not being great. I put some playtesting with I did some playtesting with it, and it wasn't great. But yeah, I like this a lot more just because all you need to do is challenge. Doesn't matter if you take them out, they take you out. Doesn't matter at all, and you get to draw the cards. And obviously the +2 to strength as well is really good. Yeah, I think this is strong. Whether or not it's one of like a Ruby Amethyst item, probably not. But I think Ruby paired with other things, then this could, to be fair, it's going to be the challenger decks really, utilising Shere Khan, Queen of Hearts, all those sort of things. But yeah, I think this has got some promise. Next up, we got the RLS Legacy's Cannon. Always happy to see a Treasure Planet card. 3-cost uninkable from Steel item. Exert, pay 2. Discard a card. Deal 2 damage to chosen character or location. So it becomes, you can turn any card into your hand into a baboon. Obviously, you've got to pay to put this down. But once it's down, all you need to do, yeah, you exert and you pay the 2. So yeah, basically any card becomes baboon in your hand. I think this is all right. Again, like if the Queen that we looked at ends up being good and pairs nicely with Steel, then get this in for free. I don't think that sounds awful. It's not something that I immediately expect to see play. If we end up having a meta which is just all small bodies, just some sort of swarm deck, then maybe. I think it's interesting. I can't remember who revealed this, to be honest. Whether it was the person that revealed it or not, or just Twitter chat, can't remember. But I remember a lot of people being hard on this. And I'm not saying I think it's great, but I don't think it's awful just knowing that any card can become Baboon. Or fire the cannons, but Baboon because it can also hit locations. So yeah, nothing spectacular, but I mean, it's alright. Next up for Emerald, we've got Prince Phillip, Warden of the Woods. This was revealed by Earlmeister, who I'm really, really happy for. Earlmeister's a wonderful, wonderful person. I met them at the Into the Inklands launch event in London. Did an interview with them on their channel. And they are a new father as well, which I'm so happy for him. So yeah, huge shout out to Earlmeister, and one of the best editors in the Lorcana game, 100%. But yeah, really happy for you to get a card reveal. But yeah, Warden of the Woods, 4-cost uninkable, 3/4, quest for 2. Shining Beacon, your other hero characters gain ward. Opponents can't choose them except a challenge. This is really interesting. And there's a couple of other there's some more hero support in general in this set. We'll move on to the next hero support card next, to talk about in conjunction with this, because we need to have a look at our heroes. But yeah, I think this is great, being able to put this down. I mean, like, you think of things like Aurora that we got in the first chapter, who is 5 cost, inkable, and she just gives ward to everything. But again, that's Sapphire. You might not be playing Emerald with Sapphire, and yeah, I think this is a good ability to be able to take advantage of. Yeah, I wouldn't write this off at all. And again, we need to look at our heroes, but let's move on to the other hero support card. Really excited for this one. We've got Philoctetes, No Nonsense Instructor, revealed by Lorcana Academy. Love this art, but yeah, 4 cost, inkable, 2/3, quest for 2, and 2 abilities. You gotta stay focused, your hero characters gain Challenger 1, and Shameless Promoter. Whenever you play a hero character, gain 1 lore. I think this, particularly, is really, really, really good. Let's look at our heroes straight away. Yeah, I've just done a flick through, and like, just look at all these. It would take too long to be naming them, but look at all these characters that are heroes, and just playing any of these is going to just immediately net you 1 lore. And like, we've got the cheap ones up here, like at late point in the game when you've got a lot of ink, play Philoctetes and then just immediately throw down a lot of 1 and 2 cost hero. Like, the more I talk about it, the more mad I think it is, to be honest. But yeah, there's so many. If you want to curve, especially in steel, you can go Philoctetes into Beast, who, yep, you're a hero right here, 5 cost Beast. Robin Hood without shifting, or shift it. Yeah, I think this Philoctetes is so good. And giving Challenger 1 as well, to be honest, it could not have that ability and would still be a really good card, in my opinion. But yeah, Challenger 1 as well. Obviously not as good as if it was just a +1 to strength. We would like that, because then it gives us protection against things like Madame Medusa, because obviously they would keep the strength during the opponent's turn. But hey, you can't have it all. So yeah, Challenger 1 as well to boot, and questing for 2. Yeah, this could be really annoying. Yeah, I've got big hopes for Philoctetes. And yeah, if we are playing a big hero deck, if we do want a combo with Emerald, then yeah, I think Prince Philip will make a fine addition. Next up for Emerald, we've got Jasmine, Desert Warrior. 5 cost uninkable, of course. 3/3, quest for 2. When you play this character, and whenever she quests, each opponent must choose and discard a card. So yeah, this seems good. Do you want this over Lucifer? Because obviously, you know, the trade of Lucifer can be an immediate 2, but if they have an action, then it's just 1, and then that's it. But the fact that you play this, they discard 1, and then you can threaten it every turn, it's much better than Daisy, even uninkable. So yeah, I quite like this. Same lore pips, but 1 more strength and willpower. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this. I think like Lucifer, it will be in half of the Emerald decks, because that was the case, like, looking through the Stitch lists. Of all the decks running Emerald, to be fair, it was probably less than half that were running Lucifer, maybe a third that were utilizing. So yeah, this might not be in all of them, but I think it absolutely has a place. If you're playing Lucifer, you do consider, do I prefer this? And if you weren't playing Lucifer, I think you still consider this, because I think in some ways this is probably better. So yeah, big fan. Next up, we got Field of Ice, revealed by B Squared. Shout out to them. A Sapphire item, 3 cost inkable, Icy Defense. Whenever you play a character, they gain resist 1 until the start of your turn. Yeah, quite interesting. The problem is, you're mostly going to benefit from this if you've got rush characters, because obviously if you're playing a character, then they're ready, so they're not going to be, like, their ink's dry, so they're not challenging, and they're probably not being challenged. Don't get me wrong, if opponent's playing Exert effects, then great, that's going to protect you there. So yeah, I think you would need to be paired up with a lot of rush, probably with Ruby, which red-blue is, yeah, it's a good deck. Whether or not this has got a place in it, I'm not sure. I think it's probably a bit too expensive. It's certainly interesting, and like, again, if you get multiple of these down, then being able to, like, yeah, in like, if red-blue becomes the right way to play challengers, then maybe there's a spot for this. I doubt it, but an interesting card. Next up, a pretty cool one, Aurora, Lore Guardian from Sapphire. 4 cost inkable, 3/3, quest for 2. She has Guardian, opponents can't choose your items. Very nice. I'm liking the theming of all the Aurora cards so far as well. Well, not all of them, but it's obviously becoming her thing. Like, she protects. And then Royal Assortment. Exert an item. Look at the top card of your deck. Put it either on the top or the bottom of your deck. So yeah, this is interesting. Obviously scouting for better cards and make sure we've got ink. Obviously there's utility if we're playing with things like Sorcerer's Hat and the Mulan to sing songs for free. If it's a song at the top of your deck, I think Mulan's going to be great with sing together songs. So yeah, worth bearing in mind if we want to take advantage of those sorts of things. And yeah, I mean, hey, like those Porpsicles that aren't really do anything, exert them. It's not costing you anything, so why not? But yeah, the Guardian ability is your main reason for playing this. But the Aurora Assortment is nice to have on top. This is only going to be worthwhile, obviously, because again, if you like, not all decks have item removal and have a way of choosing items. So any deck, any blue deck, if it is beating everything except the decks that have item removal, then this comes in. If it's not, then I'm not sure it's worth the slots. Like, if it's not useful in 50% of your matchups, and then even in those 50% matchups where it is, it's still not doing that much, then obviously it's not going to stay. I don't know, it's certainly interesting. And again, like, if item decks struggle the most against, are only really struggling against decks that have item removal, and like it's a case of, if we could stop them popping this, then we beat everything. Then this is your answer. So yeah, cool card. Alright, this is a really, really exciting one. We've got Alma Madrigal, Matriarch of the Family from Amber. 3 cost, uninkable, 1/3, quest for 2, and everyone at the table. When you play this character, you can search your deck for a Madrigal character and reveal that card to all players. Shuffle your deck, put that card on top of it. So I'm a bit late reporting to this. I know the community's already kind of moved past the excitement of this, but yeah, this is our first tutor effect. Tutor meaning that we find a specific card from the deck and either add it to your hand or the top of your deck. For me, in my Yu-Gi-Oh days, we called it Reinforcements of the Army. This is Reinforcement of the Madrigal. Actually, I think Breezy made that same joke. That wasn't deliberately ripped, but as soon as I said it, I was like, wait, I think someone's made this joke. But yeah, being able to search specific cards from your deck is so strong. This sets a precedent as well. Like, okay, we're going to be able to search. It's going to start tame. It's going to be like search for a Broom, search for a deity, search for like the less common keywords. But you've got to think at the very least, eventually we're going to get, I mean, it may be too expensive and unplayable, but search for a villain, search for a hero, play a hero from the deck. Like, I don't know how long it's going to take us to get there, but I have no doubt there will come a point where we will be able to just hard summon straight from the deck as the game speeds up. Let's enjoy Lorcana, because like these early stages of a game, I think, are like some of the best times of it. And don't get me wrong, I'm excited for the future, but like the game could change so much. But I think this is perfectly fine to have with the Madrigals that we've seen. The nice thing about tutors as well is that you could now, if there's a Madrigal that you only need one of, you can just run one, because as long as you'll run 3 or 4 copies of this easy, because now we know we can find that one of. That's one of the things I like about tutors. It lets you build decks a bit more consistently. So yeah, just this ability in itself is game changing. Whether or not this specific one with the Madrigals that we have at the moment is going to be enough to be like meta, I doubt it, but it's definitely going to make the Madrigals one of the better fun decks. And hey, it might just be that a meta deck just really benefits from 1 or 2 specific Madrigals, so we play this just to find those when we need them. So yeah, I think it's really reasonable that we see this in play in the next format, even if it's not a dedicated Madrigal deck. If it's just another deck that really likes these 1 or 2 Madrigals, then we have this to find it. So yeah, exciting. Next up, we've got Dang Hu, revealed by John T at the Inkwell. 5 cost inkable, Storyborn Villain. This is quite cool art. I'm not going to lie, I don't know who this character is. She's got a 3/5 stat line, quest for 2, and you better talk fast. Your other villain characters gain support. It's not very good, I'm afraid to say. Not much more to say other than that. Next up, for Amber, we've got Miracle Candle. revealed by Rebecca, the Lumiere, friend of the channel. Shout out to her. 2-cost Inkable and Abuela's Gift. Banish this item. If you have 3 or more characters in play, gain 2 lore and remove 2 damage from chosen location. Second part of the ability is not going to be the reason you play this, but if you do end up running locations, then better to have it and better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. There you go. But yeah, first part of this ability, it's just to gain 2 lore. We can do it straight away as long as we've got the 3 characters. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Obviously, Amber already has like a lot of cards that want other cards on the field, like the Christopher Robin that gains lore if there's a certain amount of characters. There's a couple of others. I can't think off the top of my head, but they're probably coming up on the screen. But yeah, it's sort of Amber's thing to benefit from multiple characters, rushing a lot out. So yeah, it's all right. It's not that it's bad, I'm not sure how worth the slots it's going to be. Maybe if that deck ends up doing okay and it always finds itself losing by just 2 lore, maybe this sneaks in. But yeah, nothing much more to say. Next up, we've got Belle, Accomplished Mystic. This art goes so incredibly hard. So, give me Lorcana posters, man. Just shut up and take my money. Amethyst, 5-cost Inkable, 4/4 quest for 2, shift 3. An enhanced healing. When you play this character, move up to 3 damage from chosen character to chosen opposing character. Again, revealed by John T at the Inkwell alongside B Squared. They weren't too high on this card. I think this is pretty good. Again, one immediate bit of synergy is with things like... I was going to say things like Mother Gothel. I don't think there is much like Mother Gothel, but we'll get other cards in the future that do self-damage. Smee, with Smee. And yeah, again, just the damage that you're taking the first few turns of the game by challenging and them challenging you. Yeah, I think this is quite good. I don't think it's A or S tier by any means, but I think it's all right. Good against aggro as well. Yeah, I think this could see some play as a tech. I'm not fully committed, but I'm not ready to write this off as much as I think some people have. And now we get a Belle as a shift target. I don't want to cause anyone any offense, but what is this picture? Like, I can only assume it's the best that was provided by whoever it was revealed by. I mean, no offense, whoever you are out there, congratulations on your reveal, but please, if you ever do a card, if you're watching this video and you're ever in a position to do a card reveal, please give us a proper picture of it. Bag gold, but yeah, a shift target for the Belle that we just looked at. 3-cost Inkable. I can't even see its willpower. I can't see its willpower, I have no idea. But the ability is here, don't do it. Right? Move 1 damage counter from a character of your choice to an opposing character of your choice. It says play. Move 1 damage marker. I'm guessing that means when you play this character, you move a damage from one of your characters to an opposing character. Nothing too exciting about the ability. It's a shift target for the big one. Whether or not that's worth it, I don't know. I think you'd be more inclined to just play the big one. But yeah, cool art from what I can see of it. Next up, we've got Ariel's Grotto, a secret place revealed by the citizens of Lorcana. It's a 2-cost Inkable location, 2 to move their 7 willpower and treasure trove. While you have 3 or more items in play, this location gets +2 lore. Yeah, certainly interesting. Again, we need to see what sort of shape item decks take in the next set. Obviously, in this set, they were generally just quite limited packages, like the Fishbone Quill, the Maoist Fishhook, the Porpsicle, the Heart of Tefiti. That was pretty much it. Obviously, there's more items that we're getting, more ways of finding items. So yeah, if we can consistently have 3 or more items in play, then I think this is all right for a 2-cost Inkable location that will be giving us 2 lore every turn, and 7 willpower is kind of hard to get to. The 2 to move there isn't relevant for the ability of the location. Yeah, nothing crazy. If this item deck ends up being good enough, then maybe this does slip in there. Because again, yeah, it's a McDuck mana with 2 less willpower and 2 less to play. It's going to depend on how consistently you can have those 3 items or more out. Otherwise, you'd probably just prefer to play the McDuck mana. But we'll see. And again, we'll look at more of these Ariel cards. But there's a really nice story going on in the art for this and the others that we're going to look at, which I'm a big fan of. Let's go straight on to the other Ariel card. We've got Treasure Collector. 6 cost uninkable, 3/4, quest for 3. Ward, and the girl who has everything. And the girl who has everything. While you have more items in play than each opponent, this character gets +2 lore. I think I've seen a lot of people really crazy about this. I don't think this is very good. I know it's in a different colour to cards I'm going to compare it to, but you think about something like Robin Hood, the 5 cost, 6 cost inkable, 4/5, and quest for 4. And he saw a little bit of play. I think Specky popularised him a bit. But he hasn't stuck in most of those discard decks, those emerald decks. You see him pop up a couple of times, but even he's not great. And this is so conditional. I know this has ward, I get it. You should always get 1 quest turn off with this. But even then, I'm not sure it's worth the uninkable slot. And the ward isn't as safe as you think, because you might put it down sooner than 6, because if you're ramping. But if you're playing a lot of items, then where are you finding much time to ramp? So I would assume by the time you put this down, they're probably not far away from a Tremaine turn anyway. And we're getting the new song, which Be King Undisputed, which has a Tremaine-like effect, gets around ward. It's cool, it's interesting. Maybe it finds its way into that item deck. I'm not convinced. That's my early call. Again, fan of the art. I'm not sure I believe in her, but we'll see. Alright, here's one that I'm well excited for. Artwork appreciation, one of my favourite arts in the set so far. We have Hades, Foul Player for Emerald. 4 cost inkable, 3/3, quests for 1. And now to business. Banish one of your characters. Play a character with the same name as the banished character for free. So this is cool. When this first came out, I saw some people calling it a budget Mickey Mouse trumpeter. But I think the fact this is inkable and 3 willpower makes a big difference. Yes, the thing about this is you're losing a card because you banished the character to play the bigger one. But we're going to assume that the bigger one that you're playing is going to have a good enough ability that it's going to get value. And don't get me wrong, 3 willpower, like if this ever became too good, then smashes just make their way back into steel deck. Well, to be fair, they don't even have to. They've got strength for a raging fire, so if they can do this consistently. But I still think there's a big difference between 3 and 1, because at least 3, it's not just a single Let the Storm Rage On, or a single Baboom, or a single Tinkerbell drop, or a single Teeth and Ambitions. I may have said that, but yeah, I do think it makes a difference. But yeah, I mean, give us a 1 cost Ruby Maleficent, you cowards. Give it to us. Even a 2 cost. I'll take it, to be fair. No, that's Amethyst, so you can't play Amethyst, Emerald, and Ruby, Baker. But yeah, in Emerald or Ruby, give me a 1 or 2 drop Maleficent. You cowards, give it to me. To be fair, you play this with Amethyst, and our Ursa Deceivers can suddenly become the Chapter 1 Ursula, the Power Hungry, I believe she was. I doubt it though. She just, to be fair, like, yes, she dies to Tremaine, but if you're doing this turn 5, it's probably, I don't know. But yeah, there's that Ursula, and then there's the new legendary Ursula that's coming up in this set. So yeah, there's a couple of cool targets for this. I don't know. It's definitely a fun deck I want to try. Is it going to be meta? I doubt it. I'm ready to be proved wrong, but definitely a fun deck that could get you some wins. Yeah, I'm excited for this. Next up, we've got These Poor Unfortunate Souls. Finally, we get one of the best songs in Disney history. A 2 cost inkable song. Return a character, item, or location of your choice with a cost of 2 or less to their player's hand. Yeah, I'm a fan of this. It's like Befuddle, but we can sing it, and it also applies to locations, which I don't know how relevant that is right now, but the more relevant that 1 and 2 Lost Code locations become, the better this becomes. Yeah, I'm a fan of this. Would you want it over the Befuddle? Don't know. The fact we can sing it, we'll see. I wouldn't write it off. It's a meta response card, and good to have the song in the game. Next up, we've got a new Aladdin, 1 cost inkable, 1/3, quest for 1. Glad to have this. Again, I think I said before, I think any card with the text Aladdin on it is probably going to get better and better as time goes on. It's such a legendary character. We've already got the Ruby Shift, the Floodborn Aladdin, which doesn't see a lot of play at the moment, but with the new Challenger deck, I mean, you got to know, as soon as set 4 drops, you're going to see nothing but Ruby Steel Pirates again on the ladder. And hey, maybe this makes its way in and that Aladdin makes its way in. But yeah, good to have. And speaking of pirates, we've got another legendary for Steel, Donald Duck Buccaneer. 4-cost inkable, 3/4 quest for 1, and Boarding Party. During your turn, whenever this character banishes a character in a challenge, your other characters get +1 lore this turn. I actually quite like this. Obviously it's a pirate, so rush from the Jolly Roger. The Jolly Roger turn 2. Don't know what you do in turn 1, I mean. Don't know what you do in turn 2, playing Smee. Turn 3, John Silver. Turn 4, Donald Duck rushes in, takes something out. That John Silver's now questing for 1 more, and he got an extra lore off the Jolly Roger. And maybe instead of Smee turn 2, we play another location. It's going to add to the fun pirate deck, so I'm all about it. Next up, something I've been crying out for. We've got Hei Hei, Clumsy Rooster. 3-cost inkable, 2/3 from Emerald. Quest for 2. And the ability is when you play this character, if your opponent has more ink than their inkwell than you may put the top card of your deck into your inkwell face down and exerted. I'm really excited for this. Thank you. Finally, give us some more cards that balance things out by going second. Because that's exactly what you do here. Going second, it gives you a turn to catch up. I wish this was 2-cost, and it probably would be too good if it was 2-cost. Because the problem is, if you go second, then that means they have their turn 3 first. That's where they put down the Ariel, or maybe the Robin Hood that's been there since. Basically, if they get their turn 3 before you then on your turn 3, you play this, so you then go ahead in ramp. But then they go into their turn 4 and they're now shifting something, or having something that they played on turn 3, like Ariel sing something. I think in a lot of cases, against decks that really care about shifting, this is going to be 1 turn too late to stop them from shifting. Because if this was a turn sooner, theoretically you could get enough ink to then, okay, now I've got enough ink that I can play Smash or a removal card for their shift target. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well, but again, I just think if this was a 2-cost, it would just help us maybe prevent some really important plays. But again, kind of everything, and turn 3 is better than nothing. You could even go first and have a turn where you miss ink. Like Emerald with Amethyst sometimes doesn't mind sitting at 4 or 5 ink, so you can play this and know that you don't have to ink, but you're still adding to your resource pool. And the fact that this quest for 2 is huge. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this card. I think this is play. Next up for Ruby, we've got Namaari, Heir of Fang. Shout out to Ross, the Wassy, PTCG Radio. For this reveal, 3-cost uninkable villain and princess, 2/3 quest for 1, and 2-weapon fighting. During your turn, whenever this character deals damage to another character in a challenge, you may deal the same amount of damage to another chosen character. So I think this is pretty interesting. If we look at it in conjunction with cards like the Medallion Weights that can give +2 and let us draw cards. And we looked at this in a previous video. Vitalosphere, 1-cost inkable item, extract a ruby, pay 1, banish the item. Chosen character gains rush and +2 strength. So I think those are pretty cool. So being able to combine that with this Namaari, like, we would need to put it down later than turn 3, so we still have enough ink to pay for the Vitalosphere or something, but that's okay. Just play this later than turn 3, and then immediately use that, give it a +2, give it rush. Then I think this is really cool, and then you're immediately doing 4 damage to something else, and maybe we've got other ways of boosting the strength. So yeah, I'm actually a big fan of this card. I wouldn't be, again, being uninkable really sucks, but I think its utility could be good enough. It's going to depend how the meta shapes. And again, I know it's a bit of a cop-out, but at the same time, again, these are just my initial instincts. It's hard to really tell until we see a degree of testing. But off the top of my head, this does sound interesting. Next up in Amethyst, revealed by Hobbies and Happiness, we have Peter Pan Shadow Finder, 3-cost uninkable, 2/3, Rush, a quest for 1, Rush, Evasive, and Fly, of course. Your other characters with Evasive gain Rush. So it's the reverse of the Peter Pan Shadow that we got in Rise of Floodborn? Rise of Floodborn. Which, yeah, love the theming. Another great art. I don't think this is as good. I think it's more important to be able to put this down and give one of your other characters that already had Rush Evasive to challenge into something. Because if you would need to play this and then play something else immediately that has Evasive. Maybe there's a path where that ends up being quite good. Again, it's another uninkable. I think it's going to fall into the category of it's okay, but probably not as good as other things. But who knows? If we've got another Evasive character that giving it Rush would help to deal with a particularly common meta threat, then maybe, and it's cheaper than the Peter Pan Shadow, so we'll see. Next up, we've got another Magic Broom. Yes! Give me the brooms! Brigade Captain. This is one of the best arts so far, I think, to be honest. We've got, we're a 6-cost inkable, 2/6, quest for 2, resist 1, and Broom Army. This character gets +2 strength for each other character named Magic Broom you have in play. Yeah, love it. Find a way to give this man Rush, and yeah, this could be cool. Yeah, more Broom support. Again, don't know how good it's going to be, but I'm just excited to play Brooms, man. So we'll see. Next up, one that I low-key think is one of the best cards revealed so far, to be honest. Shout out to Specky on his first card reveal. Good to see. Well earned. From Amber, we've got Ursula, Vanessa, 2-cost inkable, 1/4, quest for 1, and Singer 4. So similar to Sebastian and Miss Bianca, the 2-cost with Singer 4. But this is a much better stat line to have. Way superior. Yeah, and I'm really excited for being able to combo these for the Sing Together songs that we've seen. I do think they're going to see some play. I think I may have overhyped a couple of them when I did my initial reviews, which if you haven't seen, they're all recent videos on the channel. Go back and feel free to check them out. But yeah, I'm a big fan of this. Next up for Sapphire, we've got Prince Phillip, Gallant Defender, 3-cost inkable, and inkable Phillip. Bad gold. 1/3 stat line, quest for 2, support, and best defense. Whenever one of your characters is chosen for support, they gain resist 1 this turn. It's cool, it's interesting, it's novel. It doesn't sound great. To be fair, quest for 2, but 3 cost, I don't know. I don't think it's good enough. Next up, Mickey Mouse, leader of the band. No, this card had not been revealed when I did my video covering Mickey. Thankfully, I don't think it matters much because this is a 4-cost inkable, so you would always play the 3-cost one and even the Stalwart Explorer from Steel before you played this. Unless you were going to lean into the Dragon Gem, because this has support. So that's kind of cool, some synergy there. But yeah, 4-cost inkable, 2/5, quest for 1, support, and strike up the music. When you play this character, chosen character gains support this turn. That part of the ability. Like, if you really wanted that, you'd just play blue and play Alice. Love the art, don't get me wrong, like, great art. Love the theming, obviously. I don't think it's great. Nice and quick, new Hades and Sapphire, 4-cost inkable, 3/6. Couldn't even survive Medusa. Could you have just give this 4 strength? Like, what? What are you scared of? It's fine, just give this 4 strength. But yeah, art goes hard. Next up, we've got Arges, the Cyclops, another reveal by the Wassy. 2-cost inkable, 4/1, quest for 1. So it's a Steel Gaston, but 1 less willpower and without Reckless. If you have access to Ruby, I think you'd always play the Gaston. Yeah, Reckless, it can be a drawback. You can be, like, baited into unfavourable trades. But I think the 2 willpower is probably worth. I don't know, it depends how easy we can hit 1. Because obviously there's things like Tinkerbell, but most other things, cheap cards like Fire the Cannons and Baboon do 2. I don't know, maybe this is slightly better, but yeah, it's a busted stat line. Next up, Lefou. I can't look at this card without laughing now, because on Twitter, Why Breezy posted this with the caption, POV, my microwave at 4 AM. And it really tickled me. I can't look at it now without thinking the same thing. But yeah, this was revealed by Podcana. Shout out to them. 3-cost inkable, 2/3, quest for 1. And I learned from the best. During your turn, you may play this character for free if an opposing character was banished in a challenge this turn. I think this is quite cool. I don't know how worth it is though. It's again, I think we're getting a lot more cards that fit into that category of like, oh, this is quite interesting. But is it good enough over other options that we have? Like if we look at the card pool, just sets 1, 2, and 3. I think every meta deck would like to find room for a couple of things already. So when a new set comes out and there's cards that you really want to play, you're probably cutting some things that you cut because they're not good anymore because there are now things in meta that deal with them. Like Madame Medusa was a great example of that. Like that keeps and kept some things out of play. And that's the way the meta works. And yeah, but yeah, there's always going to be more cards that you want to play. I don't know if this is necessarily going to be one of them. All right, 2 more. We should keep to under the hour. This is actually one of my favourite cards revealed so far, to be honest. We've got Lumiere, Fiery Friend, 2-cost inkable, 2/2, quest for 1, and Fervent Address. Your other characters get +1 strength. Now, I think this is quite good. Obviously, the fact that it's all characters, that doesn't specify a characterization, nada. Just all characters. And I mean, like, immediately you keep things out of range. I think, like, I keep using Madame Medusa as a example, but I kind of think you have to take some of the most popular meta threats into consideration. And how many characters now are you keeping out of range? And if you're against Ruby in general, you play this, perhaps that's now giving you Medusa protection and Tremaine protection, because assumedly you had another character and you're putting this down. So I think this is quite cool. That's only one deck, of course. But again, this is going to fix math. Like, no matter what you're playing with, so whatever characters you choose to put in your deck, if the problems you're having is, oh, well, I can't deal with this, which I'm seeing all the time, or I can't deal with this that I'm seeing all the time, then this could be just a really nice little math fixer. And as we get more cards in the game that do things akin to Madame Medusa based on strength, and I mean, like, we're getting Under the Sea. There's, what's it called? The new action. It's on the screen right now. The one that banishes a character with 2 strength or less. Now, this is keeping them out of that range. I think this is really good. This is one of my favourite cards I've seen so far. I don't know if it becomes relevant straight away. But yeah, I wouldn't write it off. I definitely think it's worth picking up a playset of these. Alright. I've left this one till last. I don't know how good a job I'm going to do of articulating my feelings about this, and in that vein, I'm going to try and not go on about it too much. I am happy to be wrong. I've been wrong before. I will be wrong again. But I do want to say that if you've been with my channel a while, at least since like this time 3 months ago, like if you're someone that watched all my reviews of Into the Inklands, then you know I was quite spot on about a lot. Yes, I got things wrong, but I made a lot of good calls initially. That's not always going to be the case. And if there's any opinion I have that is likely to be wrong, it's probably this one, just down to the amount of people that I already know disagree with me. But I low-key think this is garbage. Love the art, love the theming, love the story with the other Ariel cards. 2-cost uninkable item. We have fresh ink. When you play this item, draw a card. An unexpected treasure. All cards in your hand count as having ink. What a unique ability to bring to the game. And I do think that's what is making a lot of people rate this so high. And again, I could be wrong. I may well be. But yeah, this is just such a unique ability. I think there's a lot of assumptions straight away that it has to be good. And again, Emerald is known as the ink that has, like, most of its decent cards are uninkable. So yeah, cool. What I said about this initially is my problem is that if you're going to benefit from this and having all your cards be inkable, then surely the reason to do that is because you're then now building your deck in a greedy way where you can play a high level of uninkables. But if this gets popped, you now just have an incredibly inconsistent deck. But the rebuke that I heard from a couple of people was like, don't think of it as like you're now building your deck greedily. You build your deck the same. you're just making it more consistent. It's more likely that you will be drawing into those Inkables. Okay. How many copies of this are we playing? That we want to see it regularly on for a turn 2 drop? Surely 4. Let's be generous and say 3. So that's 3 extra Uninkables that we're playing already. Are we taking those out of Uninkables that Green was already playing and just keeping the same amount of Uninkables total, including these Inkcasters, but now more of the time we're going to be able to ink them? Cool. As a player, I always expect my opponent to ink anyway. If they miss ink, that's a bonus. Like, whenever I'm thinking through turns and imagining what my opponent's going to do, 95% of the time, I am assuming that they are going to ink. And if they don't, it is a surprise that you try and capitalize on. Yes, if you've emptied their hand, then you can consider a bit more, okay, so, like... Okay, they've got 1 card in their hand and 6 ink. And you're against Ruby. They've got 1 card in their hand and 6 ink. Now you've got to think a bit more of like, okay, that 1 card in their hand could be prepared. So if they draw an ink, then they can do that and immediately play it. So there's times like that, game states, where you may think more about, oh, maybe they miss ink, and that needs to be something that you play into. But generally speaking, I just assume they're going to ink. And... most of the time that is the case. I expect a deck to ink anyway. Also, yeah, you get to draw a card. That, of course, does really help this. But if Porpsicle was a 2-drop, it would not see play. I really do not think it would see play. So that isn't enough to sell me on it. Plus, Emerald, 9 times out of 10, it wants to, like... It's an aggro deck most of the time. If I'm playing Ruby Amethyst and I'm playing against a green deck and they put this down turn 2, I go, thank God that weren't Ursula Deceiver or Flynn Rider or other 2-drops, depending on what ink you're playing with, Smee, things like that. So I just think it's such a passive turn. Later on in the game, when you're already at 4-5 ink, sure, play this, and then we can... Because the thing is, if you play this on your turn 2, you've inked to 2 to put this down. So it's not like Fishbone, where you can then immediately ink something uninkable. You've got to get to your next turn. And if they pop this straight away, like if you're on the draw, and they go Benja, pop. And, like, I know that's 1 card. But again, the better this gets, maybe people start playing Heal What Has Been Hurt. Other item removal, there's Judy Hops... so yeah, I'm not, yeah, and the point I was originally getting at, if you're at 5 or 6 ink, okay, you play this and then you can ink an uninkable. You're already at 5 or 6 ink. Like, I'm dunno, guys. I'm sorry. If I'm wrong, then I will be the first to say that I was absolutely wrong. And players I respect, I've seen really talk this up. Players I respect, I've seen agree with me that they don't think it's great. How do you feel about it? Let's have a chat. By all means, I don't think it's good. And that is it, other than there is a reveal happening right now, courtesy of the Illuminateers, called One Last Hope. Love this art. We've got a Steel Song, 3-cost uninkable. Chosen character gains resist 2 until the start of your next turn. If a hero character is chosen, they may also challenge ready characters this turn. Okay, alright, interesting. It's another uninkable, but it's a song. Again, we showed a list of heroes not too long ago. Yeah, initially this sounds quite good. Yeah, like if it's you play a 3-drop and then on your turn 4, it would have to be a turn 5 actually, or a hero that you put down on turns 1 or 2. But yeah, you play something on turn 3 that you want to sing this. And then turn 4, you could either sing this with your 3-drop and then you choose your 1 or your 2-drop as long as it's a hero, give them resist and let them challenge ready characters. But preferably it's later on in the game by like at least turn 5, because then turn 3 you play your singer, turn 4 you play your hero that you want to actually do the challenging, and then turn 5 you're singing, giving resist and challenging a ready character. Yeah, it's interesting. It might be a bit too specific for an uninkable. I don't know. It's pretty cool. What do you guys think of this? This is just my initial reactions. It's all right. I don't think it's crazy. I'm kind of crazy about the art, though. That's awesome. But yeah, we are now fully caught up with the Ursula's Return reveals. There'll be more over the next couple of days as they ramp up, surely. But yeah, again, there should be some cool videos coming out on the channel. Monday is when I'm doing my my big, my meeting with my guests. There'll be 5 of us total. So that'll be happening on Monday. If I can get it out that evening, then I will. If not, it'll be Tuesday. There's another secret video going up in the next few days, and then there'll be another review video for whatever's revealed over the weekend. But yeah, ramping up to Ursula's Return. I'm excited. Are you excited of all the cards we've talked about today? What are you excited for? What have I overhyped? What have I underhyped? I'll hear all about it down below, but that's it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you're brand new to the channel, please subscribe for all things Lorcana. Hit the like button to show your support, and we'll see you soon.